Hello, crew, and welcome once again. Let's dive right in. So my thought over the past week or so was we each have something that we're always working on, something that we're trying to get better at, something that we hope that will improve through training or through practice or through repetition or through repair, through rehab or prehab. And I started thinking, man, we're kind of like a home project, like one of those shows on TV where they're constantly fixing things, and you run around and find a house and you improve it. And so I thought, wait a minute, it's kind of like the human renovation project. Human renovation project, I thought. So why not? Let's go with that for now, the human renovation project. So this week, we shall start to talk about training. And training in a smart and efficient way. Triathletes throughout history have piled more training upon more training upon more training until you get to the point where you end up injured, burned out, and it's just no fun anymore. So, we use Training Peaks as our primary delivery system, but also as a fabulous tool to judge all the metrics of what's going on. So, Training Peaks has an entirely different and exciting back end than most softwares. It's not just a calendar where someone says, do this, do this, do this. But it's a tool that holds all your metrics. It calculates tons of different things. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about that, give you a brief understanding of what Training Peaks is, and go from there. So here we go. But first, we must talk about our fitness. Most of us see our fitness almost like a ramp. Like a steady hill, like hopefully we're constantly improving. But it doesn't really work like that. Our fitness is more like a staircase. So you do a hard bout of training, and then you rest, and then you adapt. And then you do a hard bout of training, and then you rest, and you adapt. So go up the step, pause for a second. Up the step, pause for a second. There's a good reason why, well, I guess it's engineering or mechanics, but there's that little platform in between the stairs. You climb a set of stairs and you hang out there. You climb a set of stairs and you hang out between each floor. I like to think it's so I can catch my breath before I go up again. You catch your breath, you get ready to go. So remember, training, stress, recovery, adaptation. One of the best ways you can track it is through our metrics and Training Peaks, and I'm going to show you how now. So here we go. All right, welcome to our behind-the-scenes look into Training Peaks. Yes, this does not look like a calendar. Of course, Training Peaks is a calendar where you get to find out all of the crazy workouts that your coach is giving you and that make you wonder why the heck you're even doing this sport. But since you are doing this sport, we need to understand your fitness journey. And Training Peaks offers us an incredible set of tools that allow us to do that. So the first thing I want you guys to do is head up top, click on the dashboard button, and it'll open up a window full of charts. If you have the premium account, then you have access to a ton more charts. So we want you to go and find a chart called the Performance Management chart. And it should pop it up, and if you have any data, it should look, something like this. So the first thing that we need to realize is that Training Peaks uses a number called Training Stress Score. And it's used to calculate the metabolic cost between various workouts. So for example, we need to know how a 3-hour bike ride impacts your body compared to a 1-hour track session or a 45-minute master swim set versus an easy recovery run. And so it does this through a number called Training Stress Score. And it's calculated like this. If you were to ride your bike at 100% of your threshold for 1 hour, that would be 100 points. So 1 hour at threshold, 100 points. So for example, if your bike threshold is 200 watts and you ride at 1 hour at your threshold, 100 points. If your run threshold is an 8:30 pace, you run at 8:30 for an hour, 100 points. And so one of the first things you need to make sure you do is go to your zones and really set all your threshold paces, your heart rates, and all those things. Let's make sure they're accurate. Now, as we were talking before, and you can take a look on this chart, fitness is like a staircase where we have these times where we climb up and we rest. We climb up and we rest. And we have periods of stress and then recovery, which lead to adaptation. So this athlete, for example, I can take a look at her entire journey. And each of these little peaks represents an event or a race that we've trained toward. So we'll train to an event and then we rest. and then maybe you have a vacation here, and then we train up for the next event, and we rest. And then it becomes December here, and so we go into vacation mode, and we rebuild back up, and then we rest. Spring break, probably, that's early April. So this section here represents a period in time where we're really training hard to get to an event. So we train, we plateau a little bit, we build up, and then we do a big push, and this was a qualifying race for 70.3 World Championships. And the goal was to get a qualifying spot, which she did. And then we realized, okay, now we get to recover. We're coming into the off season, and we're going to start to build our off season program. And at this point in time, she had a pretty substantial injury, which shut her down for a while. And so you can see, boom, we shut down, we shut down, we shut down. And then this period is doctor-ordered complete and total rest. Fitness goes down. But remember, we qualified for Worlds here. We need to go again here. So what we had to do is build back up. So you can see this gives a wonderful snapshot of the entire fitness journey. So the blue line is something that we call the CTL, or your chronic training load. I boil it down and say that the blue line is how fit you are. You want this line constantly trending up as we move toward your A race. The pink line, magenta, whatever your color of choice is, represents the acute moment in time, the acute training load. So how intense a specific workout was. All these dots down below are workouts. And each of these lines represent the impact of that workout. So this workout's pretty hard. Obviously, this race here, pretty intense. The yellow line represents the training stress balance. It's the tired line is what I like to call it. And so in this world, we're trying to balance form and training and recovery and this magical thing where we're trying to get all of these things to converge. So we love to use this chart to get a better understanding of your fitness journey. So go ahead, dive in, take a look at these numbers. Feel free to add some of your questions down below, but this is a primer, this is a beginner. I'll also post a couple of links to some articles just so you guys can get an idea of what's going on. So for example, if you see your numbers trending down, then maybe we need to adjust some things. Maybe we need to adjust your thresholds. If you see your yellow line really getting really low, and you start to feel groggy or hangry or cranky, or your partner or spouse says, what's your problem? Then maybe you're on the verge of overtraining. So this is just a simple, dorky, techie, triathlete kind of way to understand your entire fitness journey. And so go ahead and dig in, pull up this chart, let me know your questions, and we'll go from there. All right, there you go. It's Training Peaks 101. We're trying to pay attention to the performance management chart. It's extremely important to balance your moments of stress and your moments of recovery so that you have adaptation. So pay attention, check out the articles below. It'll hopefully give you some good insight, and we will see you next time.